But what about people who are non-believers? Is there anyone out there who has a different view on this new pope?
Sort of like a church community, but without the God.
We found answers to those questions here at the Executive Surf Club during a meetup of a local atheist group.
Most of us view him as not any different from popes who have come in the past. He has prettied it up a little bit. He's engaged in some PR for the church, which I think the church definitely needs, given the scandals that they've been dealing with.
Who hasn't ripped a baby or two out of its mother's womb?
It's kind of the baptism stat. Did you just say that? And it's homeopathic gum, so it contains almost no gum.
Jay's body slamming infants.
When are you guys put his pants on?
I love that. Welcome to Atheist Airwaves on Secular FM Radio, secular.fm. I'm Jay Guerrero.
Amanda Stevens.
I'm Sarah Kiefer.
And I'm Christian Ferris.
Atheist Airwaves is Corpus Christi's only radio show for atheists and the secular-minded. We're sponsored by Corpus Christi Atheists and the South Texas Coalition of Reason. And tell us what we're talking about today, Christian.
The phlegm that it builds up in my throat the second this show starts.
Man, isn't that annoying?
Scintillating.
So first and foremost today we're going to warn everyone to stock up on ammo because Jesus is coming back and he's going to pop a cap in your ass. That may or may not make more sense when we get to that story, but we'll also be talking about America turning godless faster than we expected. We have actual listener email, and the Egyptian military has cured AIDS. Praise Allah.
Yeah.
But first, we have to break our moratorium on Pope stories.
Yes.
Haven't been able to use that in a while.
But what about
Yeah.
I like it, though. So what we heard was an excerpt from our local news station. They had a special on Uncle Frank. Now, I have to give them a little bit of credit. They did make the effort to kind of try and put together a well-rounded segment or well-rounded report. They talked to like the local diocese and a rabbi and a Muslim,
They
and
were
of course
all
us.
loving him.
They were.
The rabbi and the Muslim were like, yeah, totally on board.
The Muslim guy was like crawling up the Pope's ass. I was like, bro, come back.
He was so excited about new Pope.
Or maybe he was just excited that a local television station would actually
Talk to him.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah. It meant he existed in Corpus Christi.
Right. I was surprised that they reached out to us as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I mean, they obviously spun what they
Right.
put on there. What showed up of what you guys said, I'm sure wasn't exactly what you said.
What I really wanted them to show that I knew they wouldn't show was me talking about how they harbored the pedophiles in the Vatican, but obviously that got cut.
Of course.
because Sarah talked with them for about 5 minutes. I talked to them for about 5 minutes, and they really put on the nicest stuff either of us had to say about the Pope. And on the one hand, I was, oh, good, I don't have to get, death threats. But on the other hand, I was like, this is the one time, because the KRIS guy would yell at me routinely, trying to get me to do something angry. It's like, the one time I'm angry, let me do the anger thing, man. But no.
Of course not. So I'm pretty sure that the rabbi and the Muslim probably had other words to say too that didn't quite make the cut.
That sounds like the beginning of a joke.
Apparently, I'm not allowed to make jokes anymore on air.
A rabbi and a Muslim are talking about the Pope.
I wish we had a punchline for that. That would be epic.
Well, if we had more people in the chat room,
Hey, people in the chat room, make up punchlines. We'll read
edit
the
it.
best one.
And we'll edit it back in like we made it up.
we will steal all of your words.
So, I feel like they were going out of their way to just make sure that they were doing a positive story on the Pope. And that's why, the quote that they put in from me was like the lead up to me talking about the pedophiles and the hating the gays and stuff. And then they just shut me down after that.
I'm guessing whatever you said, Kiefer, it was just full of bad stuff because you got like 15 seconds.
I was very polite.
That was good.
And calm, and he kept asking me things that weren't really relevant.
So
I kept just talking on my own.
That's what I did too.
I remember watching him from afar. He looked like a chicken when he spoke.
He seemed nervous.
His head was all weird.
So the reporter couldn't make it because he was obviously on the air during our during our meetup. So we sent the camera guy, and the camera guy had no idea what he was doing. He really didn't ask any questions. It was really just one of those things where we just had to start talking.
Yeah.
I thought Sarah did a much better job than I did, and I think they pulled mine because,
President sounds better.
maybe. I don't know. We just need to start giving out titles to people.
I guess you were
He was
the
like
only woman that they aired, weren't you?
Yeah. I guess
There,
you're right.
I went around and asked if anyone else wanted to talk, and no one was interested until like the guy was leaving because then they'd had drinks.
You didn't ask me.
No,
We were
no.
busy because it was the same night that guy was there.
Yes, I do.
So,
Yeah, Gandalf or whatever.
Herschel.
Herschel.
yeah, we were all
Who the heck is
busy.
Herschel? I don't even know what that is.
From
Walking
The
Dead.
Walking Dead.
Oh, okay.
So we had just for those people who weren't there, we had a theist join us, and he looked like either Gandalf or Herschel from the Walking Dead, and he was a
Moron.
yes. There was
So-
it devolved into yelling at the poor guy.
Yeah.
Because he was just well, I mean, he pretty much walked into our group and said, "You guys are immoral and illogical," and so it's not going to go well for you when you walk into any group and that's your lead in.
He asked me to stop cussing at him.
I liked how he did it because he tried to use sign language with you at first.
He did.
He's just running his finger over his lips.
It was good.
Putting on
Anyway,
some chapstick.
Jay's like, do you need balm or what?
you dry, buddy? No. Anyway.
So the other thing that went on this weekend was the podcast-a-thon.
Yeah, it was rather interesting.
It went a lot better than I thought it would because there were the three of us there, Sarah, Jay, and I, and then they had, Secular FM had three people there, and then there were the guests, and so I was really nervous going into it. I'm like, there's no way we're going to be talking over each other, but it actually, I think, went over pretty.
Yeah, for 7 people on the air at one time, that
Right.
was not bad.
We do have a little bit of audio that we'll just play a little bit of the first part where we interviewed Jessica Alquist, of Cranston, Rhode Island fame. She sued her high school and got a prayer banner taken down with much difficulty, death threats, and all kinds of fun stuff. So we'll just listen to a little bit of that interview.
I had a question for you. As a woman, we've talked about Rebecca Watson on our show several times and some of the negative and unwanted attention that she's gotten being a woman. And so I was wondering if you've experienced anything like that.
Definitely. I think the number one thing that I've noticed is that out of all the people who have done similar things to what I have, you might have heard of Damon Fowler and Harrison Hawkins, 2 other students like that. When they get threatened, it's usually, I'm going to fight this person, or I hope this person gets beaten up. With me, it was constantly rape. I had heard about rape probably hundreds of times. Just let's rape her. I hope she gets raped. And they obviously wouldn't be saying that if it were a male student. And I noticed that it was sort of a clash in the comments that I received.
Just thinking from Corpus Christi Atheists, every once in a while we have to police some behavior towards women in our organization. I'm wondering, have you faced any, creepiness from within the movement?
I guess I've been a little bit lucky and haven't really. I've heard about a lot of the things that have happened, but I don't think I've really had any of that personally.
That's
thankfully.
surprising. I would have expected you to have encountered something at least. So that's actually
I think
refreshing.
most of my I guess creepy comments have mostly just occurred online, so I've never actually had to address it face to face with anybody. So that's I'm really thankful for that. So
I can
I would
imagine
handle it.
So you got into this really young. What drove you to get into activism at such a young age? Was it just out of necessity or the opportunity?
Honestly, I don't think I really knew that I was getting into activism. I was just kind of doing something that I felt passionately about, having no idea that it was going to blow up the way that it did. I really just thought that when I asked my school to take it down, they'd just do it, and that it would never be anything more than a meeting with the principal. And it very quickly escalated to far more than I ever imagined it would. But I think it was definitely a learning experience for me. And now that I have had this opportunity, I definitely want to continue with that.
I love how she was accidentally an activist. That's great. It's like, if you're going to get death threats, you might as well do it by mistake.
Right.
Surprise!
Right. So after that, we actually interviewed JT Eberhardt, and that guy is awesome sauce.
Yeah, did we ever get an email back from him? Did that
I haven't
happen?
gotten the email from him, but hopefully we will, and hopefully we'll have him on our show because he's more wrong
cut
than
out.
us.
He is so
He's
cut out
really
for this
funny.
show.
Yeah. There's something wrong with that guy, and I appreciate that.
Yeah, it's hopefully we can get him on here because it will be a total riot.
Yeah, so hopefully I'll be able to get part 2 of our podcast-a-thon up. If you want to hear part 1, go to atheistairwaves.com or iTunes, and you can listen to the whole Jessica Alquist.
So they did record part 2?
Someone did, and I'm trying to get the recording
Okay,
from
good.
him. Our recording board went down after that because I didn't have power. Anyway.
Yeah, so it was good. No, the interviews went really well, surprisingly well, aside from the background noise that you could obviously hear.
Oh yeah. Dan was going to town on the keyboard.
That was not us typing. Anyway, so let's get to some other stuff that we talked about last week. Just a couple of follow-ups.
Yes, speaking of death threats,
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
yet another high school girl was receiving death threats. We talked about her before, Kaylee Wilson in North Carolina. She was one that was trying to start a secular student alliance at her school. She had started an account on GoFundMe.com, and she'd raised over $500. But recently she actually kind of gave up her quest and gave back all the money because she and her family felt unsafe due to the numerous threats and verbal attacks that she was getting. I looked on the site, and it was really sad because 2 days before she posted how excited she was, and they were getting T-shirts, and they were gonna have like a pizza party and stuff, and then they had to make the decision to call it quits.
It just sucks.
I totally get it. I mean, we talked to Jessica Alquist a little bit about this over the weekend. I mean, I have 2 children, and when we're on television, my wife is more nervous about that stuff than I am. But I mean, it is something you have to think about. I mean, I've been afraid for my life in the past, and so I'm more concerned about my kids, and so I can imagine pulling the plug as a parent. And I wouldn't be surprised if it was her parents that made that decision for her.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it sucks. I mean, that's a lot of hard work and dedication and perseverance to get to the point that she got to, just to toss it in the trash because of some Christians acting very un-Christ-like.
Yeah.
One of them called her a dumb cunt bitch.
What would Jesus do?
Not be tolerant, I think. Apparently that's what. I guess they don't remember that Christ for him.
That is really weird for me. I mean, how angry Christians get, and the philosophy of their religion, at least on paper, compared to the actual practice of it, is very. There's a lot of cognitive dissonance there.
It really is.
Very much. And they hate it when you use that Gandhi quote at
Oh
them.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I know what
your
you're
Christians
talking
are
about.
so unlike your Christ because
Right.
it's so apt, and they're like, "Oh yeah, well Gandhi was a child molester." It's like, okay,
Way to change the topic.
And
It doesn't mean he was wrong.
Was it the right kind of child molestation? Oh, that's horrible.
That's not Jay's opinion. That's from last week's show.
Yes.
Please go back.
Where's the follow-up segment here?
But let's honestly compare persecution. The Christians in this country love to pretend like they're the persecuted ones. And this is actual persecution. I mean, Christians whine because they're not allowed to make everyone pray their Christian prayers in schools. This girl was harassed and threatened until she had to withdraw from public life. That's actual persecution.
No, absolutely, absolutely. Like the story of last week. Was it last week or the week before with the kid in high school who, about the poster, he was going to stand up and he made T-shirts because he was taking a stand against people oppressing Christians. He faced nothing like this. No one
Nothing.
threatened him.
85% of the school is wearing his T-shirt. It's like,
Yeah.
oh yes, clearly you are in danger, sir.
Yeah, he needs to go meet with Kaylee and
Right.
find out what it's really like.
There was also, I saw a Christian online who was comparing the SSA group, Secular Student Alliance, that she was trying to form to a white power organization.
What?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
And his quote after that was, "Atheism is a dangerous, bogus, and destructive belief system. All people of good conscience should do everything they can to belittle and destroy it." Nice. Atheism is not a belief system, guy.
I hate having to have that discussion with people.
Right? Yeah. Atheism is a single stance on a single issue. There's no dogma. There's no rules. There are no commandments. There's no moral positions.
There are stupid atheists like me.
Oh, sure.
There's no atheist pope.
There are dumber atheists than you, even.
That's pretty tough, man.
Has anybody seen that quiz that's like going around on Facebook and stuff? It's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Are you being persecuted for your religion or not?
Yeah.
Quiz.
I haven't seen
Yeah.
that.
Oh, it's pretty
good.
I like it. So
It's so cool.
So good.
Remember that one time we did the quiz? That was
So
cool.
I'm not even sure how to respond to Christian right now.
I did want to say, though, that, especially when I first started becoming more active as an out atheist in the community, I think it feels a lot more dangerous than maybe it actually is. And I think everyone has to make their own decisions about what they can tolerate in terms of their job, their community, and their safety. But I do think that we need out atheists advocating, and I'm not at all criticizing the decision this girl made with her family, but I think that I would just encourage people to be out there, because the more we're out there, the less this stuff will happen.
Right, we have to take away the negative connotation of the word. Anyway, go ahead, sorry.
I like to surprise people, like people that have no idea, and then just like when it comes up, like, oh well, I'm an atheist, and like mind blown.
But you're so nice.
Yeah.
Such a good person. Yeah, I still haven't seen that customer who realized that I was an atheist. She's like, "So you're so good," and then she disappeared, never came back.
She didn't know you if she thought you were a good person. So
I actually had to yell at somebody. I was in my underwear. She was at the door this morning trying to sell us Bibles.
Okay.
The pants free thing is my gig, so off my turf, buddy.
I think Sarah and I need to go purchase some brain bleach. So
You have no idea what I've been going through the past like 4 weeks. Like all month, it's like pantsless month.
Pantless or penguins, one or the other.
I did want to say one other thing, because one of the things that Herschel/Gandalf at our meetup this weekend was saying was that even though Christians and religious people do so much, there's so many, and they do so much good, that's evidence of Christianity being wonderful. And Christianity is bullshit. I mean, you look at this, and it's really just another club of sick individuals. Not all of them, but I'm just saying there are sick individuals with privilege in this organization. They enjoy no special morality, despite the fact that they claim that they're on God's team. I mean, obviously, and in fact, I would say even that we as an atheist community have a better standard of morality than Christians.
Absolutely.
And, you look at underrepresentation of atheists in prisons versus Christians. So it's exactly the opposite of what you would expect if there were actually something to the fact that you needed God to be moral.
They're also pretty dumb. Tell us.
So there.
I was trying to hand off to this next story that we've got.
Was that a clever segue?
Yeah.
I apologize for not picking up.
It went over everyone's head.
Yeah, except Jay's.
You don't want to be in my head. It's okay.
No, I do not. All right, so a follow-up on last week's crazy snake handler church guy. You may recall that he died after being bitten and refusing treatment because God's will.
That's totally not funny.
Or whatever. So, crazy snake handler preacher guy's son is of the same opinion. He says that, he will also refuse treatment if he is bitten in the same way that killed his father a week ago.
Good.
I love his name. Can I just say it?
Yes,
Sounds like
I
a
love it too.
cartoon character. Cody Coots.
I laughed about that for about 15 minutes straight today.
It does. It sounds like something off the Disney Channel or something.
Cody Coots, yo!
I got my snake.
Snake wrangling.
Yeah, he says he will send the paramedics away, just like his father did. And then his quote is, I'm gonna have to do this with an accent because you can just hear it. Thank you. I will lay right there and say to everyone that it's God's will. If it's good enough to live by, then it's good enough to die by.
You do that really, really well.
Cody Coots.
Well, the apple didn't fall far from the horse on this one. You just can't
To
fix
mix
stupid.
your metaphors in a really bizarre way.
That's the way. Have you never met me?
But just like you said last week, I think Christian said this, like, if you're gonna stick to your beliefs, then stick to them. So
I'm all
kudos
for it.
to him.
Right.
Kudos
Kudos
to
to
Cody
Cody
Coots. I need a T-shirt.
All
that
the
says-
alliteration. All the alliteration. I love it.
Isn't his dad in hell right now?
I don't know. Is he?
Well, I mean, so the Bible said that if he believed in Jesus, that he would be able to be bitten by snakes and not die, or handle snakes and not die. Well, he handled snakes and he died. So, therefore,
Logic
dictates
dictates
that he was not a believer and is burning in hell.
Does that mean he was a false prophet, leading others astray?
Oh, we need to start this rumor online. Holy shit! Everyone get to what Christian forums right now.
Yeah, because I frequent those all the time.
I was gonna say I thought I could whip one out of my head, but I just no. There's no Christian forums up there.
And the only thing I can think of is Christian Mingle because
I
I've seen
know.
a commercial for it.
Get out there on Christian Mingle, create a fake profile, and start trolling.
You can totally use the screen name Kudos Cody Coots. I give you permission.
All right, so this is the thing. This guy only knew that he was going to hell in the final seconds of his life. Would you even want to know? I mean, if you were going to burn in hell, wouldn't you like those last 20 seconds to be cool? Like you just, I still believe it's totally cool.
I bet he still thought he was going to heaven.
Really? Even
Yeah.
when he was dying?
Yeah, I bet he did. I
Probably.
bet he thought he was doing the right thing.
He's delusional.
Because he said if it's God's will, I bet he thought that he was doing the right thing. And I bet Cody Coots feels the same way.
It is. They rationalize it like that.
Yeah.
Like, the Bible said that I could handle these snakes and not die. But if I die,
Right.
well, that's just what God dictated.
I don't know. In the throes of death, I mean, he I don't know if he was being very rational. I don't think he was ever rational, but
I was going to say, I don't think it changed in the last few minutes of his life.
I don't know. I mean,
Like, he just went, oh, damn.
Would I rather know? I don't know. It's like, would I rather know I'm about to get the shit slapped out of me?
I would rather have an extra 20 seconds of bliss before I get set on fire. That's just me.
I mean, I guess you could savor him for the rest of eternity, maybe.
Man, those last 20 seconds were the best.
I couldn't breathe, and my face was all swollen.
Right.
Yeah, that's the best 20 seconds of my life.
So, a few episodes back, we talked about Rick Dyer, who has shot and killed Bigfoot
This fucking guy.
twice. He has killed Bigfoot twice. Only just kidding the first time.
Maybe he killed two different big feet.
What is the pluralization of Bigfoot?
You didn't know there was more than one, breed?
Yeah, there's like the swamp ape.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah, there's.
Are you guys serious right now?
Does the chupacabra count as a Bigfoot?
No,
or
it's
is
a-
that
I
a
think
whole
it's a
different...
descendant.
There you go.
It's a cousin.
The Bigfoot met a goat one day and was like, hey.
I hate this show so much. Anyway, Rick Dyer got two major television outlets to come cover it the first time and the second time. The first time, National Geographic came out and viewed his frozen Bigfoot corpse, which melted while they were there, and it was obviously
That sounds like a euphemism, Christian.
it was a frozen monkey suit.
Hey, baby. Want to come back to my place? See my Bigfoot.
I'm done with you. Okay, so do we have some audio from this guy?
We do. So this time he claimed he shot Bigfoot outside of San Antonio, Texas, and now he's out selling tickets to see his new, totally real this time for seriously guys, frozen Bigfoot corpse. He's another frozen Bigfoot corpse. Oh my
It's nearby.
god.
We could go see it.
Oh Jesus. I swear I wish he would bring it here.
I don't want to give him any money, though.
No.
Yeah, that's the problem.
I-
Play the clip.
All right. I'm gonna play it. This is Rick Dyer talking about how it's totally serious, you guys.
Why should people believe this is real, given the 2008 hoax that you were a part of?
Well, it's not important if people believe it's real or not. That's totally up to them.
When are you going to release the scientific evidence you say proves all this?
When I want to.
I love that. When I want to.
Said every reliable scientist.
This guy's obviously in it for money.
like it.
It's in peer review, y'all.
Who's qualified to do a peer review on a Bigfoot scientific study?
What are they, cryptozoologists?
Zoologists?
Yeah.
Sure.
I feel like the final person that they interviewed was like an 8-year-old.
I know.
He's the only one who bought it. He's like,
You're like, I did. It did look like Bigfoot.
It could be.
Case closed.
I know, it's painfully obvious that he's just in this for the money. I mean, he's putting on a sideshow and he's raking in cash.
Well, it looks like it was part of Ripley's Believe It or Not, and I mean, that's just
not.
But I don't. Do they? I think a lot of their exhibits, they like don't claim that they're real, right? Like they. I mean, it's just like
yeah,
it's
a lot
just
of
like
them
for
are
fun.
like recreations,
Right? Or it's just more for fun. It's not like.
But you know, you look at the people they were interviewing. These people weren't there for fun. They were buying it. They were.
Yeah, some of them were.
But who pays money to?
I feel like it's like a roadside attraction. I feel like he's got this trailer set up, on the side of the friggin' highway, and people are driving and oh hey, look that, we're on vacation. Let's go see Bigfoot.
Yeah, I don't know. He says that
Bigfoot's frozen corpse. Thank you.
He said that he liked the haters and the people who said he's full of crap because they help him sell tickets, and I really doubt that. I don't think that that's the case, but I will go if he brings that crap here. I will stand in that parking lot with flyers all day. I swear to God.
Will you pay him to go look at it?
I'm not giving that guy a dime. No.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure you weren't.
In fact, I'm gonna get a ski mask and a gun.
And steal? Are we stealing a Bigfoot? Let's go steal Bigfoot.
Let's do this.
Can we? Seriously, I'll go steal Bigfoot.
I'm in.
Can we burn it on the beach?
We could do that too.
Our Ides of March party, we're totally burning Bigfoot.
That's our effigy is Bigfoot.
I claim flamethrower.
All right.
Gorilla suits are expensive though.
I'll go to jail for this.
No, we're not paying for it. We're stealing it. I don't want to get just any dead frozen monkey suit. I want that one.
I already said I'll go to jail. I'll be the fall guy.
Oh, Jay, like you wouldn't be already.
Oh. Okay, so Corpus Christi Atheist meets every Sunday at 5:30. This weekend we're going to be at Surf Club. That's downtown. And visit us at ccatheist.com for a complete listing of our events. Visit southtexascor.com. Connect with our sister organizations from Corpus to Brownsville, and tune in to secular.fm for other godless programming. So let's change the topic to a little bit. I guess
it's actually kind of the same topic, just a different organization. Yeah, just
basically churches again.
You want to take that, Sarah? I can just jump in here.
I mean,
okay. So there's The Item, which is a newspaper in South Carolina. They occasionally feature articles from faith author Jamie Wilson. She's a faith author.
Is it like a faith healer?
But author. Anyway, she feels that the dwindling attendance at church can be turned around if Christians just proselytize more.
Because I never hear anything about Christianity.
Right.
Ever.
Churches are so introverted, she says, that people aren't hearing about the word. And so this is, I thought this was sort of like stretching. She wants 50, she said if 50 people told one person every day about their faith, that she feels that at least 25% of those would be likely to convert. I don't know,
Totally.
She was doing like J math there. I say like 25%.
It's totally like, wow, if I'd only heard the misogynist, racist bullshit word of God before, I would have joined years ago.
I think to try to tell somebody about your faith every single day, that sounds exhausting.
And
Why?
Plus, you're going to be that creepy person, like everyone avoids,
No one wants to sit next to you.
Right.
At lunch, every episode, like iPod things.
Like, no, this jam. This is my jam.
But is it Christian?
Thankfully, no.
I also love how she said, we have forgotten the call to go and tell others. I hate to tell you, well, Jay talked to them this morning. Yes. No one has forgotten to do this.
Well, I yelled at her this morning. I didn't talk.
Did you swear at her?
No, actually, I said, "Hey, sweetheart, we're atheists." I yelled at her from upstairs.
Oh dear.
I how she's selling Bibles door to door as if it's something you can't acquire anywhere.
Right.
Like it's something special. I can only sell it at your door.
Well, she prefaced it by saying, "Oh, we want you to know what the war is really about." And we're like, what?
What war?
I'm assuming the war in the Middle East. That's what I assumed. I don't know.
The war for your soul, Jay.
The war for my
That's
soul.
what I thought. Yeah,
That's
that's
right.
what I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah.
I didn't listen to much for bullshit.
You like threw one of your like home laid eggs at her.
Come back next week and they're making more.
I'd rather just throw the whole chicken at her.
Is that your chicken impression? Because it's amazing.
You're like,
I hope you're on the feed with that chicken
it's like
impression.
wait, you're like on Arrested Development. like, Jesus.
I have no
idea what's going on right now. I really do. I've
We're all
lost
just
total.
laughing.
I've lost
I
track
know
of
you're
what's
gonna
going
cut all
on.
this out, but
I know.
you know, like on Arrested Development when they do like the rooster thing.
I've never seen.
Yes, I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Okay.
And that will just all get edited out.
God.
Okay. The other thing that really struck me about this is that she's really talking about, whether she knows it or not, just targeting desperate people. I mean, the numbers really are, if you talk to enough people, you're gonna come across someone who is emotionally vulnerable or in a bad position and will just grab onto any piece of crap that you throw at them to think that it'll keep them afloat. And you're gonna find some suckers if you talk to one person every day about anything.
That's like the Mormon missionaries. My friend who's Mormon was telling me about they just talk to tons of people like every single day.
Mm-hmm.
So usually they at least average like 1 or 2 converts in their like year or 2 of being a missionary.
I was gonna say, do they have a quota? They only get 1 or 2 a year?
No, it's not a quota, but I'm just saying like that's what they average out. I mean, actual converts.
That's like a lot of work for 1 or 2 a year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It's just like,
You know what's hilarious about Mormons, though?
Every Mormons.
But no, if they come to your door and you're like painting or something, they will help you.
Oh yeah, you can call them if you call. Yeah,
Free labor?
Yes.
my Mormon friend told me about this. If you need like help moving, if you call up the Mormon church and you tell them that you need help with something, they will send the missionaries to help
So we
you.
just got to deal with their bullshit for like 4 hours?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Now, while you're doing these chores, you're gonna have to hear. Yeah, you're gonna hear them about the Book of Mormon.
Jesus.
Just keep painting.
No, seriously, keep painting. I think it's working.
I like this idea. We should do something with CCA. We should come up with some mundane task and invite the Mormons out. I bet Arthur knows a few.
Good times, good times.
Anyway.
You know what's really awesome? My name is next to this next story. I haven't read it. I have
Okay,
no idea what it
that's
is.
fine.
That
I'll
sounds
cover
like you.
So,
No, usually this is the purview of these assholes.
no, it's fine. I've got this. So, according to a Pew poll, 1/3 of the young people who have recently left the church are doing so basically because of negative teachings or negative treatment toward the LGBT demographic. The study that basically it's just saying that a bunch of people, what they're calling millennials, which are just young folks, are leaving the church in droves because of the stance on gay issues. It says that 58% of Americans feel.
Are you
that,
serious right now, Stephens?
I hate dry lips.
She's over here lip balming.
I have 4 types of lip balm
Come
with
on,
me at
Herschel.
any time.
So it goes on to say that 58% of Americans feel they're alienating young adults because of their judgmental stance on gay and lesbian issues.
And I totally agree with that.
Good. I'm glad.
Yeah.
People are
Yeah.
leaving.
I think Generation X was like the first generation who really had out family members and friends. And so millennials are just like,
It's
what's
normal.
the big deal?
Right.
Like I've always
From
had.
birth.
Yeah.
From birth,
Yeah, and they cannot understand why people are against their aunts or their friends or whatever.
I think that
religion has to change if they're going to stay relevant. And
Right.
to be honest with you, I don't know how you can. How you can say this is the unerring word of God, except when people don't buy it anymore. And then we're going to change it a little bit.
They
I mean,
did it with
that's-
divorce in
yeah,
the
that's
last
happened
century.
Yeah.
several times with different topics. I mean, from race. I mean, there that used to be a big Bible thumping thing. You can't mix the coloreds with the whites and all that crap. So yeah, they've adapted along with societal mindsets.
Yeah, well,
Charging interest on loans.
the Mormons. That's true. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
yeah. And the Mormon Church didn't allow full membership to black people until 1979, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
So there was somebody put a note on this about Dan Patrick's tweet.
Yes.
Oh, this was awesome.
It was the best thing ever.
Dan Patrick is the Texas State Representative. We've talked about him before. He was the
Texas State what?
Representative. He's in the House of Representatives in Texas.
I'm joking.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I'm going to have to edit the hell out of this thing.
Why?
Jesus. He inadvertently advocated gay marriage this week
yeah.
when the
Federal judge.
Thank you. Someone else take over. My head is broken.
This week, when the federal judge declared the gay marriage ban, Texas's gay marriage ban, unconstitutional, Dan Patrick angrily tweeted that marriage was between a man and a man.
One man and one man.
No polygamy.
And then it was like, share this and favorite it if you agree.
How long did it take to get corrected?
Not long,
long.
but
It was long enough that everyone and their mother got screenshots because
That's
everybody
awesome.
was like, "This is hilarious." And then like his next tweet after that was like, "Hey, we need a new social media intern."
Throw the intern under the bus.
Yeah,
Damn.
sure, Dan Patrick.
what if it was? I would love if that was like on purpose. If it was like an insider job,
That would be amazing. Like immediately, I think like Progress Texas and a bunch of other organizations were like, "Hey, we need a social media intern too. If you just got fired from Dan Patrick."
I love the last thing in his tweet said, "I know the silent majority is out there with us." Dude, your silent majority is neither silent nor are they a majority. I mean, the majority of Americans are for marriage equality. And your silent crap, they're deafening me. In 13 states, probably more coming, where you're trying to institutionalize bigotry, you asshat. I mean, literally nothing in anything that comes out of Dan Patrick's mouth is true or relevant.
Yesterday I was having a conversation with somebody. Ugh, it just pissed me off, but
I hate when I have to have conversations with people.
the worst. He was saying, "Oh well, they already have civil unions, and so they should." I've so many gay people I know are fine with just having civil unions. Shut up! Like, just shut up! You're an idiot.
So
Like,
many black people I know are just fine with having their own lunch counter. It's totally cool. They're down.
The back of the bus is more fun. It's bumpier.
You get the bouncy. Yeah.
Oh dear.
But I have to stay.
I hate jokes. Yes, you do, Jay.
Yeah, my grandmother, who I love dearly, but she's like, well, Rush Limbaugh says that they can get all those legal rights just through documents. And I was like, well, yeah, but if a hospital chooses not to honor those,
Which
as
they
have
do.
done
Yes.
in the past, then there's no time to, go to court and get an order.
I'm going to spend 6 months so that I can go in and see my dying partner who's going to be gone tomorrow.
Exactly.
What was that?
That was rage.
Rage
All right,
makes
then.
you say Erica?
That's what I heard. Like, who the hell is Erica?
Yes.
All
I
right,
thought you like
good to know.
defecated.
Oh, wow.
I hate
High
this
quality programming, ladies and gentlemen.
show. We're practically NPR up in this show.
So, Amanda, tell us about how quickly we're seeing this change.
Super quickly, Jay.
Super quickly?
Yes.
Thanks for speaking in me terms.
Probably it's about 20 to 30% faster than you would think.
Yes, there is a report out from a writer of the UK Telegraph who says that America may be turning secular much faster than we realize, which, hallelujah. But he wrote a report, apparently, and it basically says that evangelicals, who have always been like the backbone of the religious right and religion in general, kind of in America,
Right.
are now suffering the same things that mainstream Protestants did in like the 80s and whatnot, where people are just like, tired
Not
of
so
your crap.
much.
I'm gonna move on.
Yeah, this was actually an analysis done by Mark Chavez, who's a divinity and sociology professor at Duke University, and he's done studies of religion in America for a long time. And he found that 22% of white
Evangelicals?
Yes, thank you. 22% of white evangelicals born between 1981 and 1990 now say they have no religion. Hooray!
That's good.
Evangelicals.
They're the nuns.
Right,
N-O-N-E-S.
exactly. N-O-N-E-S. There's an E in there. So the number for the mainstream Protestants in the same age group is 24%, and those numbers are nearly double what they were for Generation X just 10 years prior to that. So it appears to be accelerating at a massive rate, which is such great news.
I mean, the nation is still, according to this, like 73% Christian affiliated, but
I think
still,
a lot of people like they say, even when people sometimes say that they're Christian affiliated, and like they're not really.
Yeah, I think the numbers
Yeah.
are much higher than
Yeah.
the reported. People, because a lot of these nuns say they're not atheists. I mean, the number of atheists has remained pretty steady.
It's a bad word.
Right. And
Yeah.
that's what it is. It's like no
Yeah.
one wants to be the atheist, which is why it's important for everyone to get out there and say, yes, I'm an atheist, so that people aren't afraid of it anymore. And people see that you don't get set on fire much. And people aren't afraid of that word anymore. I'm really hoping that we make the word atheism boring in Corpus Christi.
No, that's the idea. I mean, it's not. It's hard to draw a parallel, and I don't want to draw a direct parallel to civil rights, as in gay rights or racial. But it's very similar. It's going to be that war. It still is that war that we're trying to overcome that mindset of so many people.
Yeah. The other good news is that the number of non-religious Americans is at an all-time high since they started recording that data, which happened in 1930. And in 1930, the number of non-religious were about 5%. And that was true for about the next 60 years until 1990, when it raised slightly to 8%. Now, between 1990 and today, it has gone from 8% to over 20%, which is amazing. Now, why it's happened so recently is up to debate. My first instinct was internet, that atheists can find each other much more easily in the age of the internet, and you can find information a lot more easily.
I think that's completely false. I'm pretty
So
sure.
do the scientists.
I'm pretty sure it's because of the devil. He's out there working.
Is he back?
He's working more.
Taking a
planting fossils and whatnot.
He got done with that project, and now he's moving on.
Little devil dioramas all over the world.
So the scientists in this study, let's see, Dr. Claude Fisher from UC Berkeley thinks that it was because of increased intrusion into politics from the religious right, and that this is basically blowback from
That's a fair.
that stuff.
That's a fair assessment.
I think that's what kind of motivated my move. We were never
Really?
particularly religious, but just the moral majority and all of those people with their like constant wailing through the 80s and 90s about how God was being taken and we have to save the country and everybody's souls. I was just like, these people are crazy,
Yeah.
and I'm going to go this other direction.
Well, and to your point, and I think the UC Berkeley researchers echoed what you said earlier, which is, the anti-gay attitudes, sexual conservatism, the guilt that they want to put on for having sex with people or yourself, and all kinds of other socially conservative values just don't resonate with young people, and it's ramping up.
I think also as we start to get to know more people of other faiths than ourselves and things like that, that you kind of start to see, well, they're Muslim and they're all right, so, and it just makes people think more about it and be more open to like new ideas and things like that.
Yeah, the other thing that I wanted to mention is that it also kind of coincides. I mean, so there's three big things, I think, and the third one is the church scandals. I mean, the child raping, all that stuff really started to gain steam at the same time. So I wouldn't be surprised to hear that it's, all three of those things, that you have better access to information and better access to talk to people who are like you or think like you, where before you had to kind of hide a little bit, and also
The devil.
the crazy crap that they believe, and the devil, because he's done burying fossils. One of the other things that was really interesting to me, Corpus Christi Atheist has a Facebook page, and we've been running that for probably about 3 or 4 years. I think it's facebook.com/ccatheists if you're interested. But when I first started running that, I would, some of it would be memes, just pictures with words on it. And then I would try to post articles and stuff like that. No one cares about the articles. There would be zero interaction if you tried to post something where people had to read long articles or think much. But you put a nice picture with some words on it, and people are like, "Ooh, I like that!" Like and comment.
They're like me.
Well,
they like pictures.
Right.
Picture books.
Jay can't read the words, but he likes the pictures.
Why can't I read the words, Christian?
So I think that I'm not falling for this. I'm not going to edit myself out.
Damn.
So I think there's two things going on there. One is that people don't have time.
Okay.
And a lot of people don't have interest, but you put something short, brief, to the point, people can interact with that and appreciate it. But also I think that, there, like we were saying earlier, there are a lot of dumb atheists out there too. And so I think that memes really broaden the audience of your message.
It's just like a soundbite with a picture.
Uh-huh. Yeah, exactly. So I think that's the state of things.
Yes, indeed. So, speaking of the church being on shaky ground, there was a church in Mississippi had a rather interesting service lately where the upper floor collapsed and dropped like 35 people.
70.
70 people? It was 70 people?
70 children, yes.
And 35 of them were injured? Okay, yeah. And they were all like youth.
One had to be airlifted out.
Wow, you did more research on this than I did.
So I pulled a clip of the pastor who is, I apologize, it's a short clip, but I apologize. Pastor Tommy Davis is the most annoying, boring talker in the world. And he talked about what happened and his views on God's actions with it. So here is Pastor Tommy Davis directly after watching 70 children plunge from the second floor into the first floor of his church. I have no idea what this is, but it's awesome.
At least
tonight in the studio.
Second floor youth room collapsed onto the second.
I have no idea how that happened, but it's awesome. I'm going to leave it.
Tommy Davison.
That sounds like bad porn.
Well, that's probably what was going on. It's like, if this church is a rockin', don't come and knock. Then the next thing you know, the floor is... But okay, here is, with the porn music, Pastor Tommy Davis.
At least 35 youth were injured when their second floor youth room collapsed onto the first floor kitchen at Freedom Baptist Church in rural Jones County during Wednesday night services. Of the 35, 19 were transported by ambulance or private vehicle to a hospital in nearby Laurel. All injuries were non-life-threatening, but one 16-year-old was airlifted to a regional trauma center in Hattiesburg about 30 miles away, according to Linda Cranford, the public information officer for the Jones County Fire Council. According to witnesses, injuries range from scrapes and bruises to lacerations, head injuries, and broken bones.
In the middle of the student service, the floor, which is a second-story floor, gave way, causing about 70 students to fall. But it's got to be said that no one was seriously injured. No one was trapped. God's hand was certainly taking care of the kids who were in that building.
Okay, bullshit. If God can keep you from getting killed in a building collapse, he can keep the building from collapsing. Okay?
Yeah.
Yep.
If he can keep you from getting killed, he can also keep you from getting injured.
Well, you always have to find a way. I mean, you can always find a way to thank Jesus or his daddy and his daddy or whatever.
He is his daddy.
Is that not the most redneck shit?
His own dad.
Someone said, "God, go fuck yourself."
Oh my.
But really, they need to be looking at God, and if they believe this crap, they need to be saying, what the fuck?
Really, they need to be looking at like their building structure.
Really?
Right? God is my architect.
There was another story that was related to this where a church collapsed and there was nobody actually in it, but they wound up having
God made sure that everyone was gone.
Yeah, everyone was out of the. Shut up. But they had to evacuate houses around it, and they were trying to condemn the building. And the I guess the pastor or whatever was just like, no, this is God's house. You can't condemn that. It fell in on itself.
God was like, fuck you. I'm condemning it.
I don't remember where that story was out of. I found it alongside this.
This story, though, reminds me of that Tracy Harris quote. I don't know if anyone saw this, but she said, "If I could stop a person from raping a child, I would, and that's the difference between me and your God." If I were God and I could stop the children from being injured and having to be halo lifted to the hospital, I would do that because I have more morals than their imaginary God.
Well, he had to be halo lifted. He had to have something for his angels to do, right?
I did like there was one comment on this story that I saw online that they were wondering why the floor of this, because this church was erected in 1998, so it was not an old building.
Yeah, I was imagining some old crickety.
Yeah, so this guy was going through the possibilities. He said, "I'm suspecting either poor maintenance or someone ignoring occupancy regulations, or one of those kids had been masturbating at home and needed some divine punishment."
Oh my goodness.
That must have been the one that was airlifted.
I see you touching yourself. Stop it.
Jesus is a prick.
Yes, he is. And he's coming, and everyone better look damn busy because he's not fucking around this time.
Don't want him coming on me. What the fuck?
Jerry Boykin, who is a retired lieutenant general with the Army Rangers and currently serves as executive vice president of the Family Research Council. You can always tell if an organization has the word family in it that they're a bunch of assholes. So I'm going to give you hopefully more porn music containing clip.
You can just stop with the more porn. Honestly, I don't think anyone would mind.
Chat room, more porn? So he gave a speech last November, and the audio just surfaced. It's a little bizarre. So this is Jerry Boykin of the Family Research Council.
The Lord is a warrior. The Lord is his name. And in Revelation 19, it says when he comes back, he's coming back as what? A mighty warrior leading a mighty army, riding a white horse with a blood-stained white robe. And I believe now, I've checked this out, I believe that sword he'll be carrying when he comes back is an AR-15.
And also with you.
Jesus, this The Passion of the Christ was not a great movie, but the second movie is gonna be awesome.
My favorite part about that story was that this guy said that through reading the Bible, he's figured out exactly which weapon Jesus wants us to use.
Yeah.
There are clues in there.
Well, and here's the greatest thing. I don't know whether you noticed this, but he was asking David Barton to fact check him. And
yes, I heard that.
That's we talked about him several times on this show. He's the guy who has the least historically accurate book ever written, according to some historical society. And that's the guy who he was expecting to backstop his biblical research. It's awesome.
So now every time someone goes on a shooting spree with an assault rifle, we got to check it out a little closer, right? Just make sure it's not Big J come down to lay Daddy's wrath down.
How can you tell the difference between a really pissed off Jesus with an AR-15 and a dude who just wants to shoot up a kindergarten?
That's what I'm saying.
How do you tell the difference, really?
That's what I'm saying. We have to look closer now at all of these things. Maybe it's just Jesus every time.
He keeps trying to get our attention, and we keep just talking about gun laws.
He's like, what the hell? Oh, according to this guy, if later in his little audio clip, he says you go out and buy an AR-15. It's biblical.
Well, he says, right, that the Second Amendment was written by Jesus, is what he says later.
He does.
He's like, Jesus said go to one of his disciples to go out and sell his cloak so he can buy a sword. That's the Second Amendment, y'all. No. No.
Swords, I have no problem with.
Like, where in the Bible was Jesus, like, slaughtering people?
Yeah.
Like, when did that happen in the Bible?
Well, I mean, if Jesus is God.
It was in the director's cut.
Unrated.
Jesus, as you've never seen him before.
Oh, it's like Quentin Tarantino's Jesus. I like it.
I would so watch that movie. Can I invoke Captain James T. Kirk for a moment?
Always.
Okay, good. I knew that I could count on Stevens to back me up on this. So Captain and Kirk encountered God one time. I don't know whether you guys remember that.
Did you say Captain and Kirk?
Captain Kirk
encountered like Captain and Tennille.
Dude, do not mess with Captain Kirk. I will cut you.
No, you're the one who said it.
Dude, it's on tape. I will run it back 3 or 4 times and I'll show you you're wrong. Anyway,
go ahead.
So, God goes, hey, that's a nice ride. Maybe I could borrow the Enterprise. Could you bring it over here, please? And Captain Kirk said, what does God need a starship? What does God need with a starship? And I can say the same thing to this guy. It's like, God can like turn people to salt and destroy entire cities by just flicking his wrist. What does he need an AR-15 for?
Really? Why would you use something so crude?
Right.
You're the Almighty, and you're like, I have a big gun.
Have you never seen Dogma? It's intimidating. You need the fecalator.
No one needs that, no.
But you didn't say bless you when I sneezed.
He can walk on water, raise people from the dead, but he needs a gun that jams a lot. I don't know what that's about.
You don't even know shit about guns, do you?
I know, but I did some research on AR-15s, and people who know about guns don't like them very much.
There's various varieties, but yes, that's true.
I was recommended to buy a Kalashnikov if I really wanted to go toe-to-toe with Jesus. With an AR-15, they're like, Kalashnikov will never jam on you.
No, they're right about that, but there's better options.
This is what atheists need to know. So let's talk about this, because if Jesus comes back with an AR-15, what sort of weaponry should a good atheist take on?
This is a segment I'm going to have to sit down and write for you.
It's too bad we don't have a holy book to tell us. We have to figure it out on our own.
I wonder if it's like if we could find our own prophets to tell us, how we will defeat Jesus when he returns.
I hope it's something ridiculous, like kittens. You've got like
a kitten launcher.
That's right. That's right.
That's what atheists should
I
be
bet the
using.
Bible armor. That story really needs to be right here.
You throw banana peels on the floor and they slip on them.
I mean, he is wearing sandals.
Oh, that's so true. Maybe we should just talk about that.
Yeah, let's talk about the Bible armor.
Let's skip ahead to Bible armor. This is going to be much later, but this is so relevant right now because plus 3 Bible armor will help you against Jesus. No kidding. So this Monday, Ricky Wagoner, who's a bus driver in Dayton, Ohio, was attacked by 3 teenagers after his bus broke down. He was shot 3 times at point blank range and stabbed in the arm because I guess, just after you shoot someone 3 times, you have to make sure they're dead by stabbing them in the arm.
Right.
Have you never played an MMO, the shooters?
Yeah.
No. Actually, no. So at any rate, he lived because the first two bullets, lodged in his Bible that he had in his front pocket, and the other one shot him in the leg. So CNN titled this story, New Testament stops bullets, saves man. The Friendly Atheist blog titled the article, Man shot in the leg because he didn't protect it with a Bible. So you need to every pocket Bible.
Your clothes should be lined with Bibles.
There you go.
I like the idea of it's like chainmail, but it's Bible mail.
Plus 3 Bible armor. I love it.
I love this idea.
The one of the responding officers, Sergeant Michael Pauley of the Dayton Police, said there was obviously some kind of intervention involved in this incident because he probably should not be here. Yeah, there was a big, thick book intervened between the bullet.
There was a physical barrier.
Thanks, genius.
Now we know why the church floor collapsed. he was so busy with the bus driver guy.
Oh.
It's like, come
Right?
on. The needs of the many, God. Jeez.
Ricky Wagner just let that guy go. Plus, it said the Bible was in his front pocket, which tells me that it was not like, I mean, it didn't absorb bullets from a really like lethal area, right?
I was thinking it was like in his like breast.
That's what I thought too.
Yeah.
But they in the article, in the CNN article, they said it was in his front pocket. And that's the quote. So I don't know.
I guess that's up to.
I mean, it could be like gut. I mean, it could be like a high pocket. I don't know.
She's wearing mom
Did
jeans.
you just say hot pockets?
That stuff will kill you. It burns.
If you wrap your Bible in a hot pocket, you are invincible.
This is just getting friggin' weird.
My favorite part of the CNN story, though, because after they get done with an entire page of talking about how God intervened on this guy's behalf, at the very bottom they have related story links, and the only one listed is cell phone stops bullet aimed at gas station clerk. I'm like, it's a holy cell phone.
That's right.
So you see, if you have a physical object between the bullet and you, it can actually stop the bullet. It's magic.
Is it?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it's not magic, but...
So let's talk about some more morbid things that aren't quite so funny.
Well, now I gotta like figure out where the heck we were.
Well, I think
Right
this is
after
Sarah's.
Rambo Jesus.
Yeah.
So we're talking about a group home for mentally and physically disabled, I believe, adults in California. It was run by a couple, and they would punish the residents. I can't talk. They would punish the residents of the group home if they did not attend church by doing things like making them sleep outside. And they also had people living in closets. They also were unlicensed. Just
I didn't know
by the
that.
by. Yeah, they were unlicensed. But it was Agape Mission House and Agape Home Church. So actually 2 homes that they were running.
They fit 80 people in 2 houses.
Yeah.
80. Now, they must have been like clowns at some point. I mean, I can pack a family into a pickup truck, but damn, that's like some serious space management going on.
So they had there would be like 3 or 4 people living in one room on bunk beds that had very thin mattresses and people living in closets and
A lot of dry humping. Well, I mean, you just roll over and you're dry humping somebody, right?
We've learned something new about Ferris today.
Okay, but let's
never go camping
These are
with Christian
people.
Ferris.
How do you camp? How many people do you put in a sleeping bag?
Well, I'm saying if you're in a tent, like
Yeah.
There are numerous
Okay,
people in a tent, and you're all kind of.
I don't want to
Wait,
be.
tell me again. Okay, but
Anyway,
I want to say something to your wife here, and
If
I
this-
just can't even think of what to say, but I'm sorry.
Christian, you have to respect how many racial jokes I'm avoiding right now.
and I appreciate that.
anyway, so people put their family members. People put their family members and their friends in the care of these people and trusted them. Probably trusted them in part because they were religious and because it was like a church organization. And, as we've talked about many times, that does not equal good care or good people or good consciences. And
Let's put this in context, though, because if their beliefs, their Christian beliefs were true, what they did would be morally praiseworthy. Because, they took a bunch of sick people and beat them into submission to God. And so while, yes, the next 20 to 40 years of their lives would be miserable and dirty and filthy and lots of dry humping, they would win eternal salvation because these people made them go to services twice a day.
Like Mother Teresa.
You
Exactly.
can win salvation through dry humping?
I think that's what that means, yes. I think that's in the Bible.
Okay.
Jay's just come around.
On-air conversion, y'all. But this is why religion is harmful, because if you believe ridiculous, illogical crap, your actions are going to be ridiculous and illogical. You're going to be doing things that are within the construct and the framework of your beliefs are morally praiseworthy while simultaneously being, in reality, the most heinous crap you've ever seen. It's horrible. And again, these religious nuts prey on the weak, the sick, and the desperate. I guess because those are the easy targets.
Yeah, what you said.
Someone
There's
should
nothing
stab
to
those people.
Oh yeah, like, is it time for the demented Christian disco thing?
Oh sure.
Okay, so I love that works. I hope if those of you in the chat room watching could see that.
This editing is going to be such crap. I hate all of you.
So this time it's Tennessee. Katie Nichols.
Tennessee.
She's slipped off the
Tennessee.
deep side and into. Katie Nichols. She's definitely slipped off the deep end. She's in batshit territory. She decided that she was going to stab her mom because she was the leader of a satanic cult, which had been casting spells for 3 or 4 days and was trying to kill the victim's granddaughter.
She said about her mother, she said she was so powerful. And like, I mean, that just makes me have to put my head down. It's like, what?
She had to have been smoking something. She stabbed her 3
Well-
times, and she told the reporter that she was the Antichrist because she was still breathing after she stabbed her. I mean, she didn't die. She's got to be the Antichrist.
It's like, no, you're just really bad at stabbing.
Yeah.
But give me the knife. Give me the knife. Let me show you how. That's not going to stop any Antichrist, you stupid woman. She also blames the Satanists, which I think is another really huge thread with these people. Is A, I had to do it because God told me, or she was the Antichrist, and B, it was the fault of the Satanists. Satanists can't catch a break.
They have a worse name than atheists.
Right?
Yeah.
I'm glad there's someone who's like lower on the totem pole.
It's like pedophiles, atheists, Satanists.
Yeah, pretty much. So, I mean, is this woman, do you think is she using religion as an excuse and an alibi? Is she crazy, or does she actually believe this crap?
I have to
All
think,
of the above?
I have to think and hope that in a lot of these cases that these people are mentally ill.
Yeah, I think at the very least, B and C. Probably A, B, and C, like Steven said.
Yeah. But, even if she's crazy, I mean, how do you know you're crazy when your religious beliefs tells you that God might talk to you at any time and might tell you to kill every man, woman, and child in the neighboring town, or to stab the hell out of your son, and that's just something that could happen and that you should do? How do you know if you're crazy or you're actually talking to God?
Yeah.
If you're talking to God, you're crazy.
I was like sort of having a similar conversation at work today because I had this patient who was being physically abused by his parents, and some of the physicians were saying that they didn't feel like it was abuse, that he was just being disciplined, and that it's just different cultures. Like some cultures, it's okay to like beat your kids, and and I was saying, well, what if I said to you like, oh, it's okay that I shove McDonald's down my kid's throat every single day and they're now like 100 pounds overweight? Like, well, that's our culture. Like, it's the American culture, so that's fine.
Right.
It's okay. You have to draw a line. You can't justify abusing a child with your culture or
Right.
or your religion. And
Just because your culture says something doesn't make it okay. Cultural relativism is a bunch of horse shit. There are good ideas and bad ideas, probably in every culture. I would hate to be in the culture that had no good ideas, but I bet you there is one. But you...
Because if you keep using the argument, then you can stab your mom.
Yeah.
If you keep using the argument, you can.
That's my culture.
Right, it's your culture or it's your
Step
religion.
off, bro.
It's my religion to stab my mom, so
You can't criticize me. Don't persecute me. Don't persecute me. Let me stab her.
Religious freedom law.
Yeah.
There you have it.
So there's some more dead people.
Yay.
We always lump them all in the same place.
Yeah. We always gather all the corpses and put them into one segment.
Bring out
There you go. It's like an audio equivalent of a mass grave. So in Gaza, this young lady, her family decided that she was possessed by a demon, and so they called in a priest, a sheik apparently, to exorcise the demon, basically.
It's like circuit training.
Yes, it sounds a lot like CrossFit, if I'm being honest.
Only far more lethal.
Yes. So they I guess laid her down and forced her to drink a liter of water mixed with half a kilogram of salt to expel the demon that was possessing her.
I really want to know why they think gorging a human with hypersaline water is gonna. Is it like, are they supposed to be like slugs? You shove enough salt into the vessel and it freaks out and runs away? How does this work?
Well, the horrifying thing is that they said it's not isolated because, Gaza, there's a lack of health education. There are, there's no education.
Right.
So it's just people going by the
whatever someone tells them, someone in
Basically,
authority.
So are you saying that's why they're doing this to begin with, or why they're using salt water?
that they called the sheik because they said in here, it says they will go to a sheik before they even head to a hospital.
Yeah.
So you might have, appendicitis, but they're going to go to this crazy old man in the desert first.
Bushman, I think is
And he says, oh, it's a demon. I know just what to do.
Get this child an exorcism stat.
Yes.
Yeah.
It doesn't even sound like, the salt water really had an effect, because it sounds like he started pouring it into the girl and she just started choking immediately.
Yes. And her mother, it was terrible, says, I do not know whether my daughter died of asphyxiation or of salt poisoning. All I saw was my daughter's face turn blue as he shoved water and salt down her throat.
I think salt poisoning takes a little longer than that.
Yeah.
Probably.
It would take a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. He just drowned. The poor child.
Here's my question. Why is it so hard to perform an exorcism without killing someone?
Have you ever done one?
No, that's why I'm asking. It's an honest question.
It's a battle with a demon, Ferris. If it was easy, everyone would do it.
It's like collateral damage.
That's right.
Bystanders get in the way of the demon energy.
We should try our hands at it.
No. Here's what we do, because this is where the real...
Ooh, let's get the Mormons involved in that.
I need help exorcising some demons. Could you guys send some people over? No, but the real money is not in exorcisms. The real money is going to be in unionizing the exorcisms and being the professional organization that, licenses them. Yes, that's what we're doing.
Exorcists Local 180.
Yes!
I like
This is...
Yes, that's what we're doing.
I totally... Half the stuff that we come up with on this show never happens, but...
This is happening.
This is our funding right here.
I swear to God that we can find dumbasses who will give us money to license them as exorcists.
The only thing is, then when they kill somebody, you're liable.
Yeah, then don't we have some
How
sort
are
of
we
legal
liable?
responsibility?
It'll be part of the contract. Well, our
We need a lawyer, but
our
we can
rule
make this
book
work.
will be like the Bible, like it'll be self-contradictory, and so no matter what they do, we can just say that's not the right thing.
We put something like ridiculous in the rule book, like they have to like paint their faces purple, like during the exorcism or something like that. Just like
Clearly, this gentleman's face is not purple, and that's why it went to hell. Clearly, the demon's going to get out if you don't paint your face purple. Come on.
Duh. It's like Exorcism 101, guy.
So thank you for listening to Atheist Airwaves on Secular FM Radio. Corpus Christi Atheist is a humanist organization.
We are all human, though.
Human...
Allegedly.
except for Christian Ferris's half penguin children. Stop excluding them.
Humanist beliefs and penguinist beliefs stress the potential value and goodness of human beings, emphasize common human needs, and seek rational ways of solving human problems. We stand for the equal treatment of all people, and this includes combating social injustices such as misogyny, racism, homo and homophobia, and other such bigotry. We're just going to leave that in there, aren't we?
Oh, yeah. No, homophobia is a permanent fixture in there.
We're going to have to add penguins to this.
So we actually got real, not fake listener mail this week, and I went a few rounds with this listener.
Was it from somebody that we know?
No.
Okay. That's cool.
So it was about circumcision. So I'm just going to read it to you. I like I said, I went a few rounds with him, but I just want to see what you guys would say about him. And he emailed us at god@atheistairwaves.com. So if you want to go a few rounds with God, please send us an email.
Do we get the porn music?
I can arrange that, because apparently I do it without even knowing it, and so I can just make that happen.
Porn and penguins, that's Christian's thing.
So the email says, when I listened to your podcast, I kept waiting for the topic of vestigial tails or extra limbs to come up, which I was a little surprised that anyone was expecting that.
No one expects
Vestigial tails, yes.
You broke Kiefer.
I used to think that I had a pretty good argument against male circumcision. Most people in America won't argue for female circumcision. Until I was listening to a nonprofit's podcast, and one of them brought up the case of vestigial tails. If the argument against male circumcision is that it's brutal and unnecessary because the child is at no medical risk, doesn't give consent, and the outcome is purely a cosmetic choice, then how do we permit the amputation of a vestigial tail or an extra limb? If the argument for the amputation of vestigial tails is that the child should be normal, then I can see the same argument for circumcision in this country. If the argument against circumcision is that the child should be natural, then I don't see a good argument for the amputation of a vestigial tail. Thoughts?
I have like 1,000 thoughts about this.
Okay.
I think this is really absurd to me.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Because, first of all, you could say then that, oh, like children that are born with cleft lips and palates.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we shouldn't operate on them. We shouldn't close their cleft lips and palates. That's how they're born. It's natural.
Well, that poses a threat.
It's something abnormal. Like, and a vestigial tail and an extra limb, they're not something that everybody has. Like, not everybody, it's never everybody, but most men are born with foreskin. It's not like most people are born with vestigial tails and we're removing them. It's like
I think what his point would be, and I agree with you, but what his point would be most people in this country lack a foreskin. Most men in this country lack a foreskin. So therefore it is natural for children to have their foreskins removed. That's normal.
But
yeah, I disagree with you.
I don't understand what you're saying.
So you're saying that having a vestigial tail or an extra limb is not normal, and that having a foreskin is. But in this country, most men do lack a foreskin, and so that is normal to lack the foreskin.
So I thought it did too.
I was like, I don't understand it all.
That's what I thought. No,
I understand what you're saying now.
No,
but
people in this country just love foreskins.
They love
That's what I thought you were saying.
They
I was so
collect
confused.
them. They put them in a pile.
No, those are pork skins.
Totally different.
No, so you're saying a cleft palate. Well, that provides some sort of a risk for that human being's life. So.
But a cleft lip wouldn't necessarily.
Okay.
So you're saying that we shouldn't operate on cleft lips?
Well, I'm not making that argument, but I'm saying that if you can't draw the cleft palate parallel if.
Well, I think like an extra limb. Okay, let's say an extra limb. You know, that's something that people or like a birth defect, something that like people are going to see that on a daily basis, and it's not like people know that you do or do not have a foreskin like on a daily basis.
When they put it in your face.
Unless maybe if you're Jay.
And then there's pictures everywhere.
No, for most men, like, you know, you're not a kid going to school and everybody can see whether or not you have a foreskin.
You go to Catholic school.
I mean, at some point in your life, you're in
and all
traditional
the
American.
See it. I mean. No.
At some point in traditional American male life, you're in a locker room with other naked men. You know, these things do happen.
Tell
when
me
people
again?
do see.
No.
Talk about it slower.
So I
Who's there?
They're not wearing anything, right? Or their towels? No.
I'm done.
I do want to express disappointment that this listener did not reference Jay's penis in any way, shape, or form. So I feel like they're not really a fan of the show. Because I don't think I've talked to anyone who hasn't, like, the first three things out of their mouth isn't something about your penis. That's like pretty much it, my line.
So, but back to this. I think that this is really. I resonate with this because if it's normal, you know, or if it's not normal, then you do away with it.
I mean, like, I don't mean societally normal. I mean, it's not normal. It's abnormal to have an extra limb. Like, that's not.
No, I agree. It's abnormal. It's an abnormality. It's a mutation of some sort.
Right. And like I said.
But having a foreskin is not a mutation.
Well,
No.
Technically it is, but I know what you're talking about.
Right, yeah.
It's not an abnormal mutation. It was a species mutation. But he would say that most men in our culture don't have foreskins. Therefore, that is natural. That is normal.
He can keep
Not
saying
natural.
that, but I'm going to keep saying that that's not true. Like, what's societally normal is not what's biologically normal.
To me,
And that, I think, is where the difference is strong.
Yeah.
So to me, and I've had, a week to process this, and I had, a couple of days of arguing this guy back and forth. To me, where his argument fails is he said, if the argument against male circumcision is that it's brutal and unnecessary because the child is at no medical risk, doesn't give consent, and the outcome is purely a cosmetic choice, that's not it. Circumcision actually causes sexual function damage.
Right.
I don't know a lot about vestigial tail removal because I've never ever had anyone talk to me.
Yeah,
really
I would
came
say
out of
that
nowhere.
the incidence of vestigial tail removal is
Probably
slightly
low.
lower
Right.
than that of male
I do understand where
circumcision.
the listener's coming from, though.
Well, but I think what he's done is he's misunderstood the case for not cutting off large chunks of your penis, where huge concentration of nerve endings exist. That causes harm. A vestigial tail removing that doesn't, because as far as I know, tails serve no function for humans, right? Same thing with cleft palates. That actually causes dysfunction, which is why you would fix it.
I think that, and
Fixing a penis in that way actually causes harm.
Yes.
yeah, and
That's why.
correcting a birth defect, it causes more good than harm. Like
Societally, in this
Well-
instance. Maybe even comfort-wise, but it's
That's
not...
what I'm saying. It's like, probably most birth defects that we're talking about aren't cosmetic entirely. I mean, maybe they are.
some
and
of,
that's
a lot
fine.
of them are.
Yeah.
I think a lot of them are.
Especially like facial deformities are very like jarring to people.
And that would cause harm to have that for
Yeah.
sure. And so you would want to. So I would.
Having a limb growing out of my chest would cause harm.
No, that'd be awesome. Oh my God! If I
Extra
can,
arm.
I can hold your beer.
I'll hold my own beer. Watch this. No, but I see.
How
all
great
of
would
you
it be
are
to
saying.
have an extra arm?
I would just reenact Alien
Amanda
all
just
the time.
pantomimed it.
I would do that in diners like all the time. I would get all the free food because everyone else would just run in terror.
Okay, no, I think it's a good topic. Maybe we should all touch on it again next week after we've had a little more time to think about it.
I don't want to touch your
Vestigial tail. Never mind. I was gonna go somewhere else with that, and I'm gonna just leave it alone. Let's kill that one. So, Sarah, tell us about a biology teacher.
Yeah, so let's see. Kent. Oh, sorry. No, that wasn't the guy.
No, but I was
Ryan
thinking.
Culp.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Ryan Culp is a high school biology teacher at Concord High School. And he was showing videos by Kent Hovind, who, I just have to say, before I start,
You already started.
did you watch, before I get into the actual story, did anybody watch any of the video, Kent Hovind's video?
Nope.
No, I just saw the clip.
It is maddening. Like, it's hilarious, but it's also sad, and, like, really made me angry at the same time. Anyway.
I want
And
to.
it's 2 hours long.
I want to move that we call all young Earth creationists Kevin.
Okay,
So we can call him
Kevin.
Kevin Hovind.
Kevin Hovind. Yeah. But this teacher was showing these videos in his class, and he said that, well, the law allows it as long as it's less than 50% of the material that I'm teaching. And the Freedom from Religion Foundation sent him a letter saying, actually, no.
Yeah, you're an idiot.
That's not true.
This science teacher pulls his legal information from the same place he pulls his science information, which is directly from his ass.
And so, can I also say some stupid things that Kevin said in this video? Just because it's so absurd. Okay, he said his argument against pro-choice, so anti-choice, is, if you're saying that a fetus is not viable, well, duh, a naked person on the North Pole wouldn't be viable either.
What? Slightly different. Slightly different.
What?
Oh, Kevin.
What does that even mean?
But as soon as he said that, he goes, now, I just also want to say, though, there are probably some people here that have had abortions, and if you have had an abortion, it's okay. You can just repent, and God's going to be good with that.
So doesn't that mean we should just for the Christians who go to the clinic, they should just add a step? It's like, okay,
Yeah.
Here's the recovery room, and here is your repentance script. So it'll be all good after that.
I like this. This is dogma I can get with.
And it's a complete lie that different minerals were made at different times. He completely debunks carbon dating.
Oh,
of course.
Debunks.
And also soil layers,
Yeah, from the one thing I saw in the video, well, I didn't see the video. I just saw the still frame that was on the video.
Yeah, that pissed me off.
That sounded like some shit I would have said a couple years ago.
Oh, no.
The bigger picture of evolution is, I mean, not in that instance, but talking about the New World Order and shit. This is stuff that I was fed and bought.
Not even gonna lie, because when I got to the number 3, and this is excerpts of why evolutionists would lie. They say number 3 is they understand the bigger picture of how evolution is the foundation of the New World Order, and I wrote, Jay, you want to chime in on the New World Order? You want to tell us about how that goes down?
Yeah, but I mean, seriously, they teach the lie to keep the paychecks rolling in. Or
oh my god, yeah, that one really pisses me off because it's science, douchebag. If they discovered tomorrow that evolution wasn't true, the paychecks don't stop. They just get paid for investigating what they just discovered.
Right. Yeah.
This is how science works.
So, I mean, it appears to me that based on these reasons for lying about evolution, they're just taking their own hopes and trying to force that perception of bullshit on these kids. I mean, they're hoping that if they continue to teach the lie, that you'll think it's real.
Yeah.
Also, Kevin says he's not trying to remove evolution from the classroom, and he's not trying to get creationism in the classroom. He's just trying to get the lies out of the textbooks, guys. I call bullshit, Kevin. You are trying to get creationism in schools.
Yes.
Yeah. We need Kevin shirts. We need CCA shirts that say, "Oh, Kevin," just like Keeper.
Also, just as a side note, his clothes were really dumb. Also, and the video quality and the clothing he was wearing, it looked like a video from the 70s, but it was in 2003.
Nice.
So what do you guys think should be done with this teacher who is clearly violating the law?
Burn him at the stake.
Okay.
All in favor? Say lose his job.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what I think too. I think he should be fired.
I think stake burning is
if
better.
you can't do your job, then you shouldn't have a job.
Well, if you're that ignorant of what your job is and what the law says about your job, I can't imagine if I didn't know the federal regulations that govern my profession. I can't imagine I would still have a job on Monday.
Teach PE. Make him teach PE. Is that better?
No.
Yeah. What if I was if I gave somebody double the medication? I was like, well, I'm allowed to do that.
It's
less than 50%.
I'm allowed to give a double dose.
Is that like a double shot? Can they pay you extra?
I get extra tips.
Just walk away from that one.
I am. I'm not touching it.
Away.
Not touching it.
That's all I have to say about Kevin.
Oh, Kevin. Oh, my.
Okay.
So,
let me say one more thing.
Okay.
I just saw my note. Okay. He also said, if a woman gets pregnant by her rapist, we should kill the rapist, not the baby.
But
wait.
Say that one more time.
So he's in cases of people arguing for abortion with
kill the rapist. The
woman should have the baby, but then
kill the father.
Should kill the rapist. Yeah.
But if
how is that a pro-life position?
But if babies are a gift from God, then doesn't that make the rapist an angel doing the Lord's work? How can you kill that?
It's a blurred line. It's hard to say.
I'm speechless.
Okay, now that's finally really all I have.
I think that's a fine note to end our show on.
However,
this is a very sad show.
It is, although it's been fun.
Yes, this is Sarah's last show with us.
Sad faces all around. This is
tell everyone where you're going so that the stalkers can come find you.
I'm going to Europe for 6 weeks, and then I'm moving back to the Northeast.
That's very vague.
Probably the DC area.
Ooh,
where
really?
in Europe?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Germany.
Yeah, we're in Germany.
Do you have an
Town,
address?
specifically.
Mostly Germany, and then I'll just be doing some traveling and hanging out with a very good friend
Nice.
and her family. So.
Well, we will miss you very much.
Sad to see you
guys
go.
too. Thank you.
That sucks.
So, thank you for listening to Atheist Airwaves on Secular FM Radio. We're sponsored by Corpus Christi Atheists and the South Texas Coalition of Reason. If you have questions, requests, complaints, or if you really want Sarah's address, write us at god@atheistairwaves.com. Connect with us and our affiliates by visiting ccatheist.com, southtexascor.com, or secular.fm. And again, thank you, YGO, for our outro music. Bye, Sarah.
Bye.
Bye, Sarah.
Bye.
He wrote it on an ass, I put him on a beagle. You're stuck in the past, and he's dancing with beagle. Stuck behind him, trying to kill another million.